Aim for Seva is an all-India movement born out of Pujya Swamiji's vision to bring value-based education and healthcare to the least privileged sections of society. Aim for Seva organizes global youth leadership program every year to develop contributing leaders to the society. In Pujya Swamiji's words, it is designed to transform consumers to contributors. Global Youth Leadership Program provides an opportunity to work with
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I've seen many Indians in this country, including my parents, having high academic qualifications. Also, I know that my parents and my Indian friends' parents place so much emphasis on our education. So based on this, I assume that most of the people in India are well educated. However, last year when I spent 10 days in Manjakudi, Tamil Nadu, I realized that so many people, especially in rural India, do not even have the basic education. In the United States, education is easily accessible but taken for granted. Whereas in India, education is a privilege to have for many children. Pujya Swamiji's vision was to provide education to underprivileged children in rural India. Educating even a small couple of children in each village will transform the entire village eventually. I am so fortunate to be part of this noble initiative. Indeed, the GYLP trip last year was an eye-opening experience for me. Since I returned from this trip, I've started taking my education even more seriously. I will continue to help and support Aim for Seva in whatever way possible. Thank you.
Namaste everyone, I'm Sandhya. So this is the second year that I've gone to India as part of the GYLP program, and it was memorable in such a different way. The first year, we were only able to stay in a Chatralaya for 1 or 2 days before we had to go. But this year, we were able to stay in Manjakudi for the entire stay, so the trip was a lot more personal for me. Through Pujya Swamiji's schools, education is much more accessible for these children and much closer to home. Something that I noticed about the kids at Manjakudi and at the Chatralayas the previous year is that they're so attentive in class and so eager to learn. In America, I feel like that's not the case. A lot of people feel that education is forced upon children and that it's not really a privilege. But the children at Manjakudi really understand what kind of a blessing education is because they've lived without that opportunity before. Another amazing thing about this trip was the lack of a language barrier. Because of the schooling given to them, they were able to speak very fluent English, and since they were about my age, I could have very meaningful conversations with them. On a volunteer trip like this, I think it's just as important to learn from the people you're helping, not just the other way around. And what I learned from them is that education is something that I should not take for granted, and that anything can be fun as long as you're learning something new. I just want to close off my speech with a little anecdote from a girl that we visited in one of the Chatralayas while we were in Manjakudi. She was a college girl who talked about how Pujya Swamiji had personally affected her life by helping her village and helping her education. She actually cried at the end of her story because she was so upset that Pujya Swamiji was no longer here to help, which is why I'm so glad we have the GYLP program and Aim for Seva to continue his legacy. Thank you.
During the GYLP trip this past December, I learned a lot from the wonderful children studying at the Swami Dayananda Metric School. I felt that compared to what I shared with them, I learned so much more from the kids. For example, I saw that they had an unwavering respect and gratefulness for their education. They have a passion, interest, and thirst for knowledge, which can be seen from their eager smiles. For instance, I shared with them Dream Catchers, a work of Native American art, and they were truly captivated. Afterwards, one of the teachers even asked me how to make one. After interacting with children from the free student homes and listening to Pujya Swamiji Dayananda Saraswati, I think it's important to contribute some time to help someone in need, because that can make you a better person. To quote Pujya Swamiji, when you have love and care, you are yourselves. Your wholeness comes out. Any act of caring can bring out your wholeness, your bigness. That is why Seva becomes a means for becoming big. Thank you.
We've been talking about privilege a lot. We were privileged that our parents were able to send us to India. We were privileged that the kids there accepted us so quickly. And we're privileged that today we have an audience ready to listen and help. So maybe you've heard this spiel before, about how seeing these kids changed our lives, how it's so lucky that those kids get even half of what we have, and how your contribution makes a difference. Maybe at the end of this program, you'll donate $20 or even sponsor a child just so your name will be on the bottom of one of my dad's emails. Maybe in a week you'll think, why not, and send in a check. Maybe you're sitting there right now wondering what makes this organization different and why we all care enough to put up this event today. Well, we're up here because we're honest, because we're unique, and because this organization has impressed its values of charity on all of us. We're up here because our words link the charitable and wealthy society to help it give its privilege to the impoverished and see them as an opportunity, as a practical outlet for kindness. We're up here not to convince you that this organization needs your support, but to show you that these kids deserve your help. We're up here as privileged students talking for those who have no voice. We're here because this is more than about donations and talks about privilege. It's about changing lives. Thank you. Now, I'm very privileged to let you know that Srini Raman, who is the COO of Infra Seva, will be coming up next to introduce the Meera program. Thank you.
Please give them a big round of applause for all the GYLP students who went on the trip. So we go every year, and the purpose of the GYLP stands for Global Youth Leadership Program, and is designed and blessed by Pujya Swamiji to inculcate a sense of seva, to inculcate the value of leadership in the young minds of the US children, so that one day they can be a contributor, both for our Bharat Desh and also for the USA. So if anyone is interested, you can contact me, because I am the convener of this GYLP program. I know you're all waiting here for the excitement of Meera, the Soul Divine, and I'm personally excited as a national coordinator of this Meera program. This is the concluding act in the USA. This is the 17th city in the USA and the 19th city in the world. After Chennai, the premier program that we had in the Music Academy, followed by a show in London, UK, and then followed by 17 cities in the USA, all under the auspices of Aim for Seva. With only one goal in mind, that is to spread the vision of Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati across the globe. For what? So that we can all become contributors. As Pujya Swamiji always one of his main mantra in the last days was that the human pursuit should be, the goal should be to grow from a consumer to a contributor, which all of you are being part of this. I am very, very glad that we have the opportunity to do that. And then, before I introduce Meera, I just want to say that how it all evolved. Every year, Pujya Swamiji has been giving us ideas and themes. and what should be the cultural event, right from day one. This is the 5th national organized cultural show that we are doing. And my mind goes back to August 14th, 2015. In Ashwadhi Gurukulam, and Swamiji was sick. I was standing in front of him, and he asked me what I have in my mind for the 5th national program, which I said spontaneously, Swamiji, waiting for your direction. And that came to Meera. That was his spontaneous response. And he said, the reason is, I want to inculcate the bhakti in all of the people who are participating in this program. And then I asked, Swamiji, whom shall I work with? That came the spontaneous answer. It has to be Padma Shri Arsha Kalabhushanam Chitra Vishweshwaran. Arsha Kalabhushanam is an award initiated by Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati for many years, where he has been honoring both musicians and dancers. And there are only 2 dancers which are honored with the Arsha Kalabhushanam, and one of them is Padma Shri Chitra Vishweshwaran. And then I asked, Swamiji, who should be the music? There again, the spontaneous answer, it has to be Bombay Jayashree. That was the exact words used by Pujya Swamiji. And then also, Bombay Jayashree is also an Arsha Kalabhushanam awardee from Pujya Swamiji himself. And so we are so happy and honored that 2 legends have come together, Padma Shri Chitra Vishweshwaran and Arsha Kalabhushanam Bombay Jayashree, in making this Meera the Soul Divine. It has been my personal pleasure in working with them, and the Meera the Soul Divine is a very special journey, which I'm sure you will be hearing from Padma Shri Chitra Vishweshwaran herself after the show. But I just want to give this introduction to you, that on this special occasion of the Adhishtanam of Pujya Swamiji in Ashwadhi Gurukulam, this is a very special day, the 25th of September, that the Philadelphia community, and I want to thank Praveen, Kalasabal and Sureka. Please give them a big round of applause for putting this entire show together. And all the volunteers, all the core volunteers who are behind this, in making this, and I'm sure you'll be excited to see such a magnificent Meera. So sit back, enjoy the show. Thank you.